anyway. And then, you don't even have to be a WWE guy anymore. You can merit sort of just from your wrestling contribution, which is good. But it's odd, Matt, isn't it? When you look at the guys that are in there with other guys, it's almost like they've almost done it so anybody can get in it as long as you're on good terms with the WWE. It seems, Matt.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. But then, like, regardless of that, it's still, if you're a wrestler, I guess it's a great honour.
Yeah,
to still be
of course it is.
there.
Yeah.
It is disappointing, like you say, if you have put in a tremendous contribution and you do get overlooked just because you have some personal issues.
Yeah. I mean, i.e., I think everybody from, of course, native UK would say, where's Davey Boy Smith? And, we've said that for years. People wanting him in. And I feel like he should definitely be in there. I mean, no doubt about it. I'm not just saying that because I'm trying to be biased because I'm British, but the way things are going, Matt, I can see William Regal being inducted before him at the moment. You know what I mean? Just because he's on, he's working there and he's available. But you feel like Davey should definitely be in there, 100%. And there are so many other guys that aren't inducted that should be there. We could probably give a whole list to that, but just hopefully, I mean, I've not heard of anybody in particular. There was a lot of rumours last year, Matt, that it would definitely be the Undertaker, but that's gone very quiet, especially after what we're hearing now. So I'm not even sure that would be sort of happening, but I'm sure it'll be somebody. They'll get somebody who's had a big run somewhere, but maybe it'll come a little bit out of left field. What's that, mate?
Like Batista.
Yeah, Batista. There you go. Give him one. Daniel Bryan. You can see them doing. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because Edge retires, they put him in straight after. No mucking about. And I kind of thought to myself, I bet they do that with Daniel Bryan to stop people thinking he can come back. They'll do that automatically, but they haven't, have they, man? They've just left that.
Well, there's still rumours that Daniel Bryan will return to wrestling.
Yeah.
WWE, so maybe that is a contributing factor to it.
Yeah, do you think, Matt, Daniel Bryan is looking at all these guys like Kurt Angle and even Triple H and like being like, hang on a minute, I need to get back here. Like, I'll have to go elsewhere. Just to talk about Daniel Bryan, Matt, because we don't speak. I mean, obviously, wrestling terms, phenomenal wrestler, Matt. No doubt was one of my favourites towards the end, and really deserving. He's one of the guys that you wouldn't consider could get over with the fans at all, but it was always a fantastic wrestler. But I just thought, nah, they'll never push him because he's just not got the fan support. But in the end, you feel like the fans got him there. And just, appreciate what he was doing. And, they were always going to chant yes. And WrestleMania 30 and all the rest of it. Do you feel, Matt, since he's been a GM, that Daniel Bryan's become a little bit of a joke kind of figure around? And does he look like he's enjoying it? And, is it one of those cases where they had Mick Foley doing it before and then he had to sort of leave WWE to go and wrestle and all that type of stuff? Is this a case, Matt, of they're winding his contract down, or he's waiting as well and they're just he's gonna get out? Maybe he's looking at New Japan. Maybe he's thinking, hang on a minute, I could have one last big match and hurrah, but it might have to be there for those guys. What do you think at the moment, Matt? Is his sort of interpretation of what will be going on in his mind, Matt, as far as him going forward?
Well, yeah, it's clear to see that, in his life, wrestling is one of the most important things to him. And from what we see in documentaries and the way he talks about it, it's not enough just to train people or to be part of it. It's all about him in the ring contributing that way. So that being a driving factor in him, you can imagine that he is looking at other sort of options. Because the way that he was made to retire anyway, it wasn't really his will to do so, because it was very 50-50 the way the doctors were handling this stuff. It was all conflicting reports. So I can understand the guy being confused about that. And outside of WWE, if he wants to do that, then that's that's what he should do. And I don't think he looks that comfortable being the GM of SmackDown. And I do kind of think he has a contract with WWE, so he has these dates and times to fulfill.
Mm-hmm.
No, WWE may be quite accommodating to that because they know, that Daniel Bryan has a huge following, so it benefits them both to have a respectful agreement between the two of them. I just don't really feel that they're together for the long term.
Sure. Yeah, interesting. Another guy, of course, who around the same time that Daniel Bryan got that massive push, who left at the time and had enough and quit WWE, CM Punk, Matt. A few emails coming in about him. What's happening with him? Is he doing another UFC fight? Is he doing an MMA fight? Is there any chance of him coming back to the WWE? Is there any chance of him wrestling again? And, your guess is as good as mine, because CM Punk is a very private person. And, from what I've heard, Matt, he's going to do another MMA fight. And believe it or not, UFC are going to have him on again. That doesn't surprise me. I know people are like, well, he done such a shocking job. Yeah, fair enough. He lost that fight, but it doesn't take away that the buy rate spiked because it was CM Punk. So if you're Dana White, you're going to put him on the card. You're maybe not going to have him in the main event, but you're going to put CM Punk on your card, because if he goes elsewhere, it'll be somebody else's gain. It doesn't matter how good CM Punk is or isn't at MMA. The name value itself is going to help somebody. So you got to imagine, Matt, that Dana White, if he's got Punk under a contract, he's going to put him on somewhere on his television, and they're going to, obviously make the most of that. Obviously, people are expecting him to foul again. Matt, from your point of view, CM Punk, again, he's really at the sort of wrong age of things, I guess, for to be starting UFC and trying to keep going and going. I admire the guys, wanting to do it at his age, and nothing wrong with that. And to be honest, not a terrible showing. I mean, look, everybody can lose an MMA fight. MMA is so unpredictable. There's no way you can guarantee anything. Doesn't matter how good you are. So, but could it sort of draw, Matt, where you think CM Punk could do himself, his credibility will go down? Or do you think no matter what happens in MMA, Matt, he's always going to have a place in the world of professional wrestling? He can always come back at any given moment.
Oh yeah, I mean, regardless of his win-loss records in the UFC, like not being too great that they are currently, I do got to remind the guy for actually going in there for a second run and going at it. He's obviously putting in the time and effort to train for this. So you can't underestimate a guy. That would be, anyone would be a fool in the UFC to underestimate their opponents. I'm sure he'll have a better showing than he previously did, at least.
Yeah.
Any wrestling promoter out there would be crazy not to consider having CM Punk make an appearance at your show. Anyone would want him. Even WWE would want him.
Yeah.
Vince is he's not afraid of putting differences aside to make money.
No.
So,
yeah. No, he's not. And we've seen many of people come back that Vince has had fallings out with, i.e. the Ultimate Warrior. Somebody who held him up for money and ransom once, before he went out in the night. He's come back 3 or 4 times. So, and you think of the amount of stuff that between him and Hogan and Bret and all the rest of it, Listen, Vince, at the end of the day, is a businessman, and he knows what's good for business. So yeah, CM Punk, listen, I think his name value's there. Now, whether UFC fans appreciate having CM Punk there is another thing. Whether MMA fans, really think this guy deserves to be there is its own issue. But at the end of the day, he's got the name value and he's built up his own name. So, he can do that. Dana White seems to be accommodating it, and it'll be interesting to see, if the next fight comes along and who it's against and where it will be. But I would suspect, Matt, that even if he wins, I got a feeling that would be it after that. But I could be wrong. But I just think with the age and everything, would CM Punk then maybe get a taste for coming back? A lot of people saying, Matt, that Punk is done with wrestling. That was it. Do you think that'll be his last remaining legacy? Is that we just remember him at the Royal Rumble getting eliminated by, who was it, Kane? Is that really the last thing we're going to get from Punk, do you think?
Oh, well, he's a difficult guy to read. From what he would have us believe, that would be the end.
Yeah.
And, he's done with it and everything. But then again, there gets a stage where, you do kind of get that thirst for it back again. I mean, he's lost his love of wrestling, I suppose, for now.
Yeah.
But who's to say he couldn't return at some point? Turn on the TV one night, and just, reignite his passion. And that's happened to countless wrestlers where they've gotten to a certain point and they thought, well, you know what, I've still got a lot of gas left in the tank, and I wouldn't mind getting in front of those fans, especially at a WrestleMania. Come on, I mean, we've got like 80,000 fans screaming your name. I mean, you got to miss that.
At the end of the day, listen, CM Punk is not going to keep doing interviews and going, I really want to come back, is he? Because the more he says no, the more he drives his price up. That's the other side of it as well. You've got to think about these things, and then the more shock it'll be, the more bigger it'll be, the fact if he does. So, he's not going to be going, I want to come back when he's training for a UFC fight either. He probably is focused on what he's focused on. I wouldn't rule anything out in the world of professional wrestling. I stopped doing that a long time ago because anything does happen. Trust me. The amount of times I've seen Hogan back and Goldberg coming in at the age of 50 and winning a title against Brock Lesnar. I mean, anything can happen, Matt. We just don't, as wrestling fans, as old as we are, we just do not ever think of things being having a ceiling on it, because anything can happen. So I do think there's that possibility. Also, I think the fact is that Punk, listen, part of his issue was he wanted more that main events. He wanted to have the title. He got annoyed because guys like Batista and The Rock were coming back, and he had that long run, and it was The Rock that beat him for it, but sort of only held it for a month, etc., etc. And I know that people are like, well, he should just do what's good for, he should be a team player, and I get that, but at the same time, CM Punk's got kind of like an old school mentality, Matt, where champions back in the day like Hogan were very protective, did look out for their own self-best interest because they wanted to be the best, and everything was about the title. And so there's a part of me as well that says, okay, he didn't want to play ball, but at the same time he wants to be the best. And it's kind of like the thing you can match. Okay, is pro wrestling is a work, it is is choreographed and whatnot, but the one thing that met in the middle was outside of the ring. If you held that championship, it meant you were the guy. And I do genuinely believe CM Punk thought that about himself and, wanted to be the guy. And, if you look back at the likes of Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, they wanted to be the guy as well. The egos were there because they genuinely thought they were the best. When Bret was saying the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, I don't think he was kidding in some of that, It wasn't just a phrase. I think he genuinely at one point thought he was the man. So the problem is now, Matt, within WWE, there are so many guys that win that damn belt too often that it's hard to... It's almost like you're having to sort of give it around sometimes. So CM Punk holding the belt for that long, I doubt we'll see that again for a long time, even though there's two belts. But... I can kind of respect from where he's coming from, Matt. Where do you sit with that, Matt, and CM Punk's attitude, and where he didn't want to do the match with Triple H by all accounts because, he thought he was sort of past that and wanted to have the belt and going from it and have a WrestleMania main event as such. Where do you stand with Punk on that one?
Well, that is a good attitude to have, because at the end of the day, although you have a character given to you, you are that wrestler. So if you do not like the route that they are giving you for your career, it's up to you to do something about that. I mean, WWE is not the be or end all. There are other promotions out there who will take you for who you are. So if you feel like your character is being damaged by someone, you shouldn't allow that to happen.
Yeah, I can almost see the likelihood of CM Punk doing a New Japan type thing, Wrestle Kingdom. You can almost see that being the designated place, getting a big payoff there. and doing one of those kind of matches where he gets freedom, I guess. You know, he can do a little bit more. But, you know, there's guys now in WWE, Matt, and, you know, you think about the guys that are now there that wasn't there when he was there, you know, the likes of Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles. You think of those sort of great potential matchups, Matt. There would be a few